Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Data Dispatch. Hope everybody's having a great day. Let's talk about C3.AI because right now it's really sitting in this kind of funky void. I don't think it really knows where it's trying to find its grounding, and it does have a very important day ahead of itself. That's September 6th, and that is when C3.AI's earnings will be released. Now, is it going to meet, beat, or miss their expectations? That's only going to come with time. It did beat last quarter's expectations, which is great, but this could cause a lot of volatility and fluctuation in its price targets, and especially how analysts are rating it versus a buy, hold, or a sell. Now, one interesting thing that we did see about C3.AI on the last market trading session was a extraordinary high volume of options trading for a specific strike price we're going to be talking about here in just a few moments, and especially since these are actually going to be expiring this week. So lots of important things to talk about for C3.AI. Make sure you stay tuned, hit that like button for the algorithm, subscribe for daily videos. And of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a guy on YouTube doing research, reading articles, and sharing the information with you. So if you're going to make an investment decision, make sure you do your own research. I think that should be obvious, but I do want to disclaim it to you guys. Now, let's talk about it. Pop it up on the screen right here. You got C3.AI that sits right here at the last market close of about $30.78. What we saw in terms of these AI stocks was a lot of buying pressure and confidence coming into the industry. What we had was Nvidia closes at an all-time high. Now, the reason we mentioned Nvidia is because they are basically kind of the top honcho right now, really putting a lot of their resources into artificial intelligence. We've talked about the H100 chip that really does power ChatGPT, OpenAI, and all these other platforms, blah, blah, blah. Basically, AI craze, AI boom right now. What we're seeing is a trickle-down effect. We're seeing PLTR, Palantir Technologies, had a big influx, and here you can see C3.AI up about 5.3% on the day. Trading volumes looking pretty well at about 12.68 million, market cap at about 6.3. Now, at this $31, basically, you've seen that we've had some support here, basically at the 28, and it's been able to hold the support. However, this is really not a foundational line of support. Important here to zoom out on C3.AI, and really you can see not a ton of trading activity, and actually about that $30 was these previous levels of resistance. If we were to draw a trend line basically through here, the support levels that are being tested now were previous resistant levels, and sometimes support levels do establish at those zones. However, talking about C3.AI, if we see lack of confidence, support not met here, we could be talking back down into the 20s. If we see more confidence pushing back into the future here and more buying pressure, we could be pushing resistance back towards the 40s. Now, that's only going to come with time, but one specific thing that I did want to highlight, especially in this article I talked about here, is that they saw from NASDAQ.com showed option trading volume of 80,000 contracts. Now, this is representing about 8.1 million underlying shares, or basically 58%, over half, the majority of AI's average daily trading volume over the past month of these 13.8 million shares. Now, this especially high volume of these actual contracts, these option contracts, was for the $30 strike call option expiring on September 1st, with just basically 6,000 contracts trading so far today. Now, if we go back and actually take a look at some of those options, you can see right here the ones that do expire on September 1st, the end of the week, you have tons of trading volume right here at about that $30. And especially here at about that 30 to 35, you have lots of option contracts that are coming in at these higher call volumes and strike prices of like 32, 33, 35, and it kind of cools down after that. But you do have people taking a bullish prediction, and especially on the future, and here's the next few days. Will we see C3.AI start to still accumulate in valuation? And right now, analysts are giving it an average price of about $28.40 and rating it as a hold. Now, interesting to see there, especially, this is interesting, with buying pressure coming in, since C3.AI is actually one of the most shorted stocks. And the question is, of course, is there a potential for a short squeeze? People have asked this question. If you look at C3.AI, right now, 34% of the actual percent of the float is shorted. You got 96 million that are outstanding, available for trade, and 32 million of those are shorted right now. So a lot of people actually still have a short position, even though these call options are continuing to grow on terms of the bullish perspective. With that being said here, with people shorting, could you have, if C3.AI continues to grow in price, could you have these people wanting to cover their short? And that does cause a buying pressure and basically kind of having a mini short squeeze. we are probably not going to see a very large one here just because you had that days to cover is 1.2. What that means theoretically is that if all the shorts wanted to cover their position, it would basically take about 1.2 days of trading session to cover all those short positions. The way this ratio is calculated is basically the amount of shares that are shorted, 32.9 million, over the daily average trading volume, which right now sits at about 27 million, which is why you get right over about that one ratio, 1.2. But interesting to see here, and especially, like I said, with their earnings, let's talk about that really quick before we end the video, expected on September 6th. Now, with that September 6th right here, they're predicting at negative 17 cents per share, and this would mark a year-over-year decline of 41%, with an estimate calling up for revenue of 71 million, up 9% from a year ago. So for the full year, the ZAC consensus estimate, they are projecting earnings of basically negative 28 cents for the full year and a revenue of 308 million. This would represent a 33 increase for the earnings per share, 33% increase for the earnings per share, and the 15.4% for the revenue metrics year over year, which would lead them both in the positive. So big days coming up for C3.AI. We'll see what happens with all these call options. We'll be keeping an eye on the short volume, of course. And other than that, I think we do have an interesting stock here to look at. I want to know, what do you guys think? What's going on with C3.AI? Do you think it's going to hold this price? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to start a discussion with you guys, get to know you guys a little more. I'd like to always know what you guys are thinking. So peace out, take care, and I'll catch you guys later.